Hosting a webinar with a green screen is a step up, taking your webinar to the next level. But before you press start live, there are lots of things to check, learn and discover about chroma key and green screens. Let's get started. My name is Walter from WebinarGeek, and in this video I will tell you everything about green screens and how you can host a perfect webinar using chroma key with OBS. But first, let's look at what a green screen is and why you would use a green screen. What is a green screen? A green screen or chroma key is a visual effects technique, most commonly used to remove the background in post-production, like you see in the news or the weather forecast. Why use a green screen? But why would you use a green screen for a webinar? 1. To create a more interesting background. You can use a green screen to spice up the background during your webinar. For example, you can put a presentation about your product or subject in the background like this and present without a normal screen share. Thanks to the green screen, your webinar looks way more professional. 2. More than just a background. A green screen can also be used in a practical way. Want to show a video during your webinar? By projecting it onto the green screen, you can stand next to the video live while it's playing. Adding branding is also a lot easier with a green screen. How does it work? In short, chroma key is the technique used to make a background transparent, and a green screen is your tool to create an easy to remove background. If you chroma key something, you end up without a background because there's nothing to show. You'll just see a black screen. Now the question everybody always asks is, why is it green? The reason why green screen is green is because green is the least common color in our normal clothing and differs the most from our skin tones. The second least common color is blue, also known as a blue screen. So unless you're wearing a green suit, the chroma key won't have an effect on you. More on that later in the video. Now, before we go to OBS, we need to talk about the most important part of your chroma key adventure, the production itself. Now, before you apply a green screen in your webinar, think about the lighting. The green screen has to be lit perfectly because the entire background will be removed. So you got to make sure that your background is one color and one color only. If you don't have the same type of lighting on the entire green screen, your green screen will have two colors. So you essentially end up with two different chromas of green. And that's why it's important to light the green screen evenly, so you only have to remove one color. So now I'm going to light our green screen and tell you how I did it. For this setup, I've used 3 LetGo E268C bicolor sets. 6 lights in total, all on 5600K and on 100%. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please check out our video on our channel about this light set. Links are in the description. To give you a demonstration on how to light up your green screen, I have created this setup. As I said before, the most important part of lighting up your green screen is consistency in the lighting. That's why all these lights have color temperature 5600K and are on 100%. But they do have different heights. Why is that? Well, they have different heights for a couple of different reasons, and I'm going to give you 2. One is because of the consistency of lighting up the green screen. These ones are down below right here to light up the bottom part of the green screen as much as possible. But they are a bit tilted to the back because otherwise the light wouldn't spread nicely as it does right now, and you would just have a very white spot in the bottom of your green screen. Now you have light up the bottom of your green screen and some shadows are removed, but we still need to talk about lighting up me and lighting up the rest of the green screen. That's where the other 2 come in handy, because these lights are on my height to light, well, of course, me. Because you should never forget that even though you have lit up your green screen, you still need to think about lighting up your subject, like a camera, or in this case, me. And the ones up there are, of course, to make the consistency full circle and to light up the top part of your green screen as well. Now you have lit up your green screen, it is time to use it in a live webinar setting. And here we are in our webinar setting and in OBS. Now, I've already added everything to OBS, such as the camera and the audio input, and I've created a scene in OBS. If you don't know how to do any of those things and you haven't had much experience with OBS, please check out that video on our channel as well. So right now I'm going to show you how you can remove the green screen in OBS. Now, the first thing you need to do is go to your video input capture device, which is in this case the Logitech C92 Pro. And then you see a button here called Filters. Click on Filters and you have 2 options for the filters. You have an audio and video filter or you have an effect filter. click on the plus icon bottom left, and as you can see there is an option called chroma key right here. Now click on this option and name your chroma key. In this case I will call it webinar green screen, and hit OK. And here we have some more options of removing the green screen from the background. So now I'm going to tweak these settings a bit to make it as perfect as I possibly can. As you can see, OBS removed most of the green from our green screen using this chroma key filter. So now I'm going to add a presentation and some photos so you can see what you can actually create with a green screen. Because now behind me there's absolutely nothing and it's an entire open canvas again. So now I've tweaked those settings a bit that I showed you earlier, and I've added an image in my OBS of these guys watching a football game. But you still can't see me. And that is because there's one thing that I forgot to mention, and that is, if you are in OBS, always make sure that your camera is above your image. Because if I go to OBS, click on Logitech C9 Pro and drag it all the way on top, you can see me and I can watch the game with the rest. But besides a photo, you can also add a presentation, and the best way to do that is with an extra screen. So here we have the second screen with the presentation, and it's time to add it as the display capture. So click on the plus icon bottom left and go to display capture. Click on display capture, give it an easy to understand name, in this case Dell display, and click on OK. And right now you see the Droste effect. But all you need to do is go to display and select display 2 and click on OK, and here you see a presentation on how I can best interact with my viewers, a live webinar that I did. So once again, click on Logitech C9 Pro and drag it above the Dell display, and here I am ready to do my presentation. At last, some tips for using a green screen. Tip 1. Watch out for your clothes. Your clothes shouldn't be the same color as the backgrounds to avoid a floating head. Tip 2. Watch out for your presentation slides. The same applies to your presentation slides. If your presentation slide is the same color as the green screen, it becomes invisible. And even if it doesn't become invisible, the chroma key would still have an effect on it. Tip 3. Keep the sun in mind. And no, that isn't the title of a famous 70s rock song, and no, it's also not the title of the new Mindfulness magazine. It's actually a great tip. The sun can have an effect on your lighting, so you got to block the sunlight as much as possible. Tip 4. Don't move too much. Try to stand still while presenting in front of a green screen. The more you move, the more shadows you create, which are harder to chroma key. Tip 5. Never use two types of green screen. Every green screen has a different color of green, which means a different chroma. And at last, keep experimenting. Try to find new ways to work with your green screen and to spice up your webinar. If you enjoyed this video and you want— Whoa. Before I end this video, I forgot one thing, and that is you got to make sure that there are no folds in your green screen. If there are folds in your green screen, you create shadow, and as I said, those are harder to chroma key. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about webinars, on how to host them, what gear you use and what it's like to work at a tech startup, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click like on this video and hit that notification bell. And let me know, did you already host a webinar with the green screen? Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye!